I can't let it go just yet. But now it's like, yeah, we got better options, bro. We got better options. Okay, next thing you know, she can't win nothing. So that's the way it goes. But you raised a very good point there. I'll let you have the last word.
That's all I wanted to say. I hope next time. I'm glad we got past the point where anybody we saw a black man or woman running for anything other than the Democratic Party, they got thrown automatically in the cool category. And there was a lot of people that fit that bill a while back that was running other than Democrats. And now I think we're in a place where if we have somebody that's official that can run for whatever party, we can get behind them if they're official. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much for giving this call tonight here. Yes, certainly, like I say, look, everybody needs to prove their damn credentials. Nobody gets the benefit of any doubt. There's none of that. You got to prove yourself, period. Point blank. All this idea, well, they look like us, so give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, hell no. We didn't see that work too many damn times. So from here on in, we know that they keep sending in Trojan horse candidates. So now we're like, okay, we're on the lookout for it. We are walking in the door saying, who goes there? That's brand new to them, and that's what it's supposed to be. We're walking in the door saying, who goes there? We want some answers. Who goes there? Do not think you're going to send in some dark-skinned person, and they're going to dance to some house music, and then we're going to sit up here and say, oh, well, they all right. No, we ain't doing that. The civil rights generation got off on dancing the Dougie and singing some Al Green. Do y'all notice they ain't sending folk to come sing and dance to us now? I want y'all to understand that. Do y'all notice that they're not sending people to come sing and dance to us now? When Kamala Harris, that last year, 2024 and whatnot, did you notice between her and Biden, wasn't nobody dancing? Please understand when the body politic has changed and when you are giving some folks some act right. Ain't nobody coming to us dancing now. They talk to D.L. Hughley. They talk to these other folks. Ain't nobody sitting up here trying to dance. Nobody wanted to dance. Nobody wanted to sing while they came to us talking about some policies. They came to us talking about some dollars. They came to us talking about what needs to be done. So I'm just like, yeah, you changed a little bit there, but it's like, no. We're going to have to put this hickory on your backside one time here. Just to let you know we mean business. And then we're going to see the next time you come back, we expect you to be on all fours and make it very clear that you get the damn point. And you better start talking to us with some sense real damn quick if you want anything to pop off in 2028, much less 2026. You see, this idea that you're going to sit back and play stupid and play dumb and you don't know where we are and you're too damn confused and you can't find us. Because the bottom line is Jasmine Crockett is still the candidate and representative of illegal aliens.
And deal with it, nigga.
She is still the chief candidate of illegal aliens. Don't y'all know these folk with their damn money, they'll go grab anything with a damn mock weave on his head and some damn whisk broom eyelashes and send it out there and say, here, go talk like you city girls. And meanwhile, every word that falls out of her mouth is, you know we need the illegals, right? You know we need illegals, right? It turns into that.
You're a moderator now.
It turns into that. So no, the whole damn agenda done changed. She's another one. She doesn't talk to the people. She talks to Bowling Ball Martin, or she talks to some other jackass on television. She don't talk to the people either. She knows her position is weak. She knows her position is compromised. These folks try to protect themselves. They're deliberately not talking to people. All right, we got Church of Black Power up here on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
How you doing tonight, Jason?
All right, brother, what's on your mind?
I'm listening to
I just
Jason
wanted
Black
to touch
right
on
now.
the situation or what the other brother was talking about when he said Kamala Harris lost because she didn't claim her blackness or something like that. Like, that is far from the truth. And the truth of the matter is, even if she did claim to be black, it would have just made it even worse. It was bad enough that she was claiming that she was a part of the whole history and culture of, civil rights and things like that. So I don't care what anybody say. I don't think that even if she did claim that, it would have made a difference.
Well, but not by 2024, not by July of 2024. The time for Kamala Harris to claim that, that's absolutely the reason she lost. She didn't get off the ground in 2019 because of that. She is still smart,
Right.
and because of the "you expect me to do something just for black people," no. That was what sank her and did her in. And instead of spending the next 4 years doing a rehabilitation campaign, which was what she needed to do, she needed to spend that next 4 years doing a rehabilitation campaign, but she couldn't. And the reason she couldn't was because, as I said from the very beginning, Joe Biden chose her because she had already been defeated. She needed Joe Biden much more than he needed her. So she was going to run with whatever the program was. Need I remind you, when she was in the debate against Biden, I believe those women who said that Joe Biden was assaulting him. I believe them. As soon as she got her ass knocked out, y'all hoes shut up. Vote for Biden. So that was how that went. And that's great for the art of war. That's a great for the tactic of the art of war. That's how you do that. He brought her in because she was beaten, and the only thing she could do was help him because she didn't have anywhere else to go. She was completely helpless. And when she should have been spending that 3 years rehabilitating her image, Biden wouldn't let her. Oh, no, you ain't going to sit up here and start tanking up to get credibility for you? No, you can do that after I get re-election. You can do that after I win 2024. After 2024, then you can go and start trying to amass some power and some resources for yourself. But you ain't going to come out of 2020 and start getting some credibility for yourself. You ain't going to do that. And that was the problem, because you are assuming that Biden's going to make it to 2024 so that she can get ready for 2028. That was the assumption they made, and what we found out is it came up snake eyes. And the 3 years she should have been rebuilding herself, she didn't do it, so now she tried to do 3 years of work in 3 months. And brother, you know that's mathematically impossible. It ain't gonna work. So yes, that was the reason she lost, but it was because she didn't start doing the work in 2020 and 2021. If she did, 2024 could have been a very different conversation. Now, that having been said, I don't actually believe that she would be capable of doing it. Even if she had been allowed to, I don't believe she's capable of doing it because she doesn't have a frame of reference with us. She's just another mixed kid that the Democrats grab because, well, ain't it close enough to look like y'all? That does they know how to cosplay being black for about 5 minutes but they sound like white folk observing us. They don't actually have a connection to the people. That's why I played Barack Obama's favorite music here a few weeks ago to let y'all know, does that sound like us? Or does that sound like something else? So she doesn't know how to speak to us. She doesn't know the culture. She doesn't know the language. She doesn't know the values. She doesn't know the agenda. She doesn't know any of it. She would basically have to take a course in being black 101 from 2020 to 2024. That's what would have had to happen. And it ain't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. It was never going to be.
No, you're absolutely correct because most of the people from California would have been able to tell, have been telling people how she targeted the black community and how she was not even looked at as a part of the black community. When she became AG, she was known as the first Asian American AG. You know what I'm saying? She didn't even, none of these things even.
I know it's time he is out here on this earth. It's Jason Black, by the way, of Black Authority on YouTube.
This time around, because
y'all can pull him up,
right?
On your own.
Same thing, and I said she
I don't spoon feed y'all. You have to do whatever you want to do.
Because of her policies that targeted black Americans in California. The same way that Gavin Newsom set himself up for perpetual losses by basically shutting down the reparations conversation because he didn't want to have to deal with it.
Okay, well, let me go a little bit further, because it's a little bit more cynical, because we got plenty of black politicians who sit up here and undermine black people. Go take a look at the crime bill of 1994 if you want more about that. Shout out Charlie Rangel.
He got a channel called The
So we got plenty of black politicians who undermine black people. Well, Jason, how can this be different with Kamala Harris? Here's the part of the equation that you almost touched on there, brother. Almost got it. Let me bring this into focus for you. Even with all of that going on, even with identifying as the press calling her the first Asian this and Asian that, what she was missing were black people to vouch for her credentials. You see, if she had some Where were the black folk to stand up for her and say she one of us, she with us? Where were they in California? Not across America where she supposedly is from. Where were the people there, the black folk there, to vouch for her credentials?
Gave a fuck about Kamala
It's not enough to
Harris
say you're a member of some damn sorority. That doesn't carry no weight. Who are the people on the street, the people from the block, the people from the church, the people from the school? Where are they? There was nobody but Willie Brown.
She was fake as fuck.
That was it. So, brother, that was the element that was missing, that street credibility. That's the part that was missing.
Come on,
and when it was time to go national, she didn't have anybody you could call. Now, why would she think such a thing would work? Well, it worked before. His name was Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. Show me Barack. Now, this was something that the Republicans tried to bring up in 2007, 2008, and it didn't get any traction because George W. Bush was president. But they were trying to, hey, where's the black folk to vouch for him? He doesn't have any connection to black people. Why, he's from Indonesia and all this old garbage here. And it's just like, okay, y'all just sound like white supremacists. However, he didn't have any black support. He didn't have any black folk to vouch for him. There was the first black person he ever dated was the one he married. Before then, it was a bunch of white women. So he didn't have anybody black to vouch for his credentials. And that's how they got us in the trick bag with him. Well, you can only pull that little stunt once. After him, we started saying, okay, we need to check some paperwork. Everybody line up and show your paperwork if you're trying to get this support. And I said this before, and I'm saying it again. If you want to know why Kamala Harris lost, it's because of Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. Him winning guaranteed that she and Cory Booker, just in case you think it was just a one-time thing, no, this is the new agenda, this is the new policy. None of the rest of you all the mixed kids, y'all can't do this anymore. He was the first and the only one who could get away with it because that was the first time that you had pulled that little trick on us. You can't pull that trick on us twice, and the rest of you are going to suffer because he got away with it the first time. Mm-hmm. So he's the only one who can do it. You come back and try to run the same play, we're going to catch you and snatch you up. And if you take a look down the line, brother, they ain't really... Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries. You can't pull this one anymore. Not again. So where she messed up at is if she was going to get credentials, you should have started a long time ago. Politically, you had the right folk or slept with the right people. But you should have been getting some grassroots support, some grassroots people to vouch for you. So that when you did come in front of us, they'd be able to say, hey, she's good. She's checked in. Her paperwork's good.
Thank you for joining. Anybody is more than welcome to come up here.
She thought that the white establishment was going to hand it to her the way they handed it to Obama. And she didn't realize it's a new day. It's a new day, and you're just left ass out. And oh yeah, by the way, it's about to happen again in California. Oh yeah, by the way, one more thing. It's about to happen again in California.
Oh yeah.
Well, Jason, I want to land on this one right here. This is one of the reasons why I feel like the young guard ain't going to be able to take over the old guard, at least as of right now, because there's too many of us who are knowledgeable of what's been happening since Obama.
I wish the black people that would kill each other would start listening and upgrading their mentality.
We're still jaded.
To take life seriously, stop bullshitting around.
Feeling that effect because we're not trusting anybody. We're making sure that everybody understands that we're fighting for a policy for us specifically. We don't care about minorities. We don't care about these illegals, anything like that. All we care about is policies that's meant for us. And a lot of these younger guards are trying to make it about the illegals or make it about anything else besides having to deal with.
Yeah, they're trying to recycle the same old playbook with the buffer class thing. They're trying to make the buffer class cool for us. They're trying to make us support their buffer class strategy. And well, if we get Jasmine Crockett to sell it, well, if we get AOC to sell it, well, if we get somebody younger to sell it, y'all will go along with it. And I told everybody, Jason, do you think the Democrats are going to change? Hell no. They're going to just go back and lick their wounds for a minute and rinse and repeat. What are they showing you? Well, let's go get some younger people to sell the same old garbage that we had before. And that's why I said the more she talks, the worse this will get. You're going to start dropping them trigger words, start dropping them trick bag words, and then it's going to blow up on you too.
Talk about
Well, brother, thank you for having me up in another phenomenal broadcast, and you have a very beautiful night, my brother.
Thank you very much for giving this call tonight. Like I say, the strategy hasn't changed. People, they think if they get some new spokespeople that they will succeed in selling us on the sewage where the Nancy Pelosi's and Chuck Schumer's have failed. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're trying to triangulate and calculate now. Let's get some new salespeople. Hey, she's younger like you, and hey, she's got a weave and some fake eyelashes just like you, and she's got some fake eyebrows just like you, and, you know, doesn't she have TikTok and use some of your profane slang just like you?
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do now. And they're going to have to float it. Remember, I said they're not going to change up the strategy, so they're going to let it float until it crashes and burns. That's what they're waiting on. Let's see if it smashes and burns. But until then, put it out there, because we don't want to have this other conversation.
Right.
We don't want to have this other talk that we need to be having. We don't want to talk about that one. Let me explain to you here why it is that Jasmine Crockett and AOC and the rest of them ain't gonna make no headway neither. Let me explain to you why it's not gonna work for them either. The reason it's not gonna work for them either is because even as these so-called new upstarts, they are already failing. What? Let's explain something to you here. Jasmine Crockett, here's the reason it ain't gonna work for you, baby. It don't work like this. It doesn't work like this. If you're going to lead an insurrection, you got to be in it to win it. You got to go all the way. If you are going to overthrow the power structure, you got to do like Trump did.
And deal with it.
Oh, I said it. If you're going to go after the party leaders, if you're going to go after the heads of state, if you're going to go after the sitting kings of council, you got to go in ready for bear. You got to go in hanging and swinging. You can't pussyfoot your way through it. You can't lightfoot your way through it, pardon the expression. You can't sit up here and be diplomatic. You got to walk in and say, oh, y'all got to go. And you have to rally the people around you. You can't sit up here and talk like you talking right now and think them folks gonna let you sit where you at. If you gonna make a move on the old guard, you got to do it like John Gotti and Sammy the Bull. I don't mean literally. But when John Gotti and Sammy the Bull, just like before him, Lucky Luciano, when he went after Maranzano, he said, we going in. When Gotti and Sammy went after Castellano, that's it. We taking over. If you gonna go after Chuck Schumer, you got to go all the way with it. If there's a power vacuum, you gotta go all the way. And that includes going after Hakeem Jeffries. You got to go all the way and say, this is ours. We taking over. We're not going to be nice, polite, or diplomatic. We're done with it. The beef is on. The war is on. And damn it, either we going to be standing or we going to be hanging when it's over. But this is it. That's the only way you do it. You don't nibble around the edges, which is what you're currently doing, which is what got Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman run out of there. When they were the low-hanging fruit. The rest of you were marginalized. And the big money people are not going to rally around you if you can't knock off one of these other folk. Remember, Donald Trump was behind in the polls in 2016. They were looking at Jeb Bush. They were looking at every damn body else except him. He had to take heads. He had to chop heads. He had to neutralize people. He had to kick folk overboard. He had to dump bodies on the side of the road. He didn't have any friends, remember? Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, he ain't got no friends. When Donald Trump showed up, he said, damn it, there's room enough in that White House for one person. That's just me. The rest of y'all on this stage got to go. I'm not making friends. I'm not making buddies. I don't give a damn if I make lifelong enemies. All of y'all gotta go. It's gonna be just me. Damn the big three, fool. It's just big me. Now let it bounce. And that's how you do it. That's why y'all are not going to succeed. Because when AOC should have come out against Nancy Pelosi 4 years ago. AOC should have led the charge against Nancy 4 years ago. She should have let it know, man, damn a presidential election. If we don't do something about Nancy Pelosi now, we will lose in 2024. We'll lose the House and the Senate, and you're going to have a revitalized Republican Party that will be kicking our asses for the next 3 presidential cycles. If she had done that in 2020, it'd be a different landscape today. You never would have lost Jamal Bowman or Cori Bush, and you would be the ascendant. You can't be part of an upstart. You either go all the way or you lose. In the words of Cersei Lannister, when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. It's just that simple. Y'all can't play around about this. You coming after folks' thrones, you're coming after their political dynasties. Baby, when you play this game, you win or you die. It's that simple. Because now that you've shown your fangs, they're going to be working behind the scenes with their people to undermine you all the damn way down there in Texas. So when you come out like this, you got to come out with your hands up. And I don't mean to surrender. You got to come with your hands out throwing blows. Furthermore, how can you expect the rest of us, Jasmine Crockett, to sit up here and have confidence in you when you so obviously don't have confidence in yourself? If you're claiming that the status quo is the problem, you need to come straight out and say the status quo is the problem. Do you think Chuck Schumer should keep his position? No. Now, if you were about that life and if you were really serious, you would get together, and listen very carefully now, she would get together with all the other malcontents and make it very clear, hey, we are all going to make a united stand, and we're all going to be saying together, yeah, things got to change, the old guard got to go, we are going to say it together. Hey, AOC over here, Jasmine Crockett over there, you get some TikTok views, and then you sit your ass down, and then they're going to come back and knock both of you off one by one. That's how that's going to go. But if you had some sense and understood how you're supposed to launch an insurrection, what you would do is get together. There should be Jasmine Crockett and AOC, and not just the girls. That damn squad stuff, as if we're, oh, this is the ovarian revolution. What the hell? Feminist fascism? Sit the hell down. You need a cross-section of people. You need men sitting up there with you. This is not going to be a girl power revolution. You're a joke. That's how you got your butts handed to you by Trump. You're going to sit up here, make TikTok videos and lose elections.
Here we go again. I'm in the trap for life.
All these fallopian fascists are sitting up here pretending that if they can get on CNN, that's leading the damn charge. Chuck Schumer ain't worried about no damn body on CNN. He went on the damn View. How the hell you gonna move him? Senior senator from New York, you ain't moving a damn thing. The only reason AOC is still there is because Chuck Schumer ain't trying to remove her. But if Chuck Schumer gets together, I'm gonna say it, If Chuck Schumer gets together with the Jewish constituency up there and they start moving them damn dollars and the real estate developers say, okay, AOC gotta go, don't you know that they'll spend $100 million and she'll be gone? The only reason that she's still there is because they haven't chosen who they want to replace her, and she hasn't proven herself to be a big enough problem that she gonna actually do something. And that's why they're not doing nothing. So if you all were serious, you would actually get together as a group, you'd actually organize as a group, and you would actually start taking names. You'd actually start pulling heads. You would actually start taking some folk down. Starting with Nancy Pelosi. If nothing else, you all should gang up on Nancy just to show that y'all can knock her old ass off. If you all were really serious, this is the time for AOC to say, we got to clear the deck, starting with Nancy Pelosi and the old guard that led us into this damn wilderness and didn't have a damn plan or a clue. If I was AOC, I'd get everybody else together and we would gang up on Nancy. Nancy Pelosi is symbolic of the old order. She's the one who got Biden at the White House. If you can knock her off, just her, then that shows everybody else somebody new is calling the shots. That would be a significant thing. Going after Chuck Schumer, that's not really the most symbolic thing you could do. Going after Nancy Pelosi, now that would be a significant thing. And that would show that you're calling the shots and you're the new power in charge. Now, Nancy's not running for re-election because she's old as hell. Nancy ain't running for re-election, but she doesn't have to. That makes it even better. It makes it even better that Nancy won't run for re-election. You know why? Because Mitch McConnell wasn't going to run for re-election when Donald Trump got re-elected in 2024. And Trump was beating the brakes off McConnell the whole damn time that he was running for president. He made McConnell a non-issue. And now by the time he got re-elected, everyone was already assuming that the post-Mitch McConnell era was upon us. And it is. And if they go after Nancy Pelosi and call her out for the coup against Joe Biden, all her failed policies, all her cronyism, you go at her now, and when she does get run out of there, the fact that you're still standing and she's gone, now you've taken power from her. You've taken control of the conversation. You've taken control of the narrative. She can't do nothing but get her ass up and leave. She is now your political and your social subordinate, and the post-Nancy Pelosi era will be upon you. But you got to have guts to try something like that. And you gals ain't got it. You're not organized. You're not cobbling together an organized, cohesive whole. You don't have an agenda. You don't have a unified ideology. You don't know what you're doing. You're afraid to sit up here and just say, hell yeah, we need to discuss life after Nancy Pelosi and life after Chuck Schumer. And by life after them, I mean today. We got to talk about what we're going to do now. Donald Trump did not ask Mitch McConnell for his support. Donald Trump said, damn it, I'm taking power, and anyone who opposes me, you're on the other side. When people saw him speaking so boldly, that was what got support. AOC is sitting up here talking trash to Trump. AOC is not running against Trump. You're not running against him, ma'am. You can't beat Nancy Pelosi. You haven't proven you can defeat Nancy Pelosi. You can't beat Hakeem Jeffries. How big of a crack pipe you smoking on to delude yourself into trying to fool people into thinking you're running against Trump? You haven't beat the antiquated, cobweb-covered relics and antiques in the Democrat Party. It's a farce to say you all are the young upstarts. You haven't even knocked off the old fossils in your party yet. You still serve under them. Until you demonstrate that you can remove them, you still serve under them. Let me explain to y'all exactly how that happens. When we started hearing the new media on the Black channel, going on 2 decades ago, when we started here, you remember how it was? You remember what they were saying? They didn't want to acknowledge what we were doing, but then the numbers started moving, and we didn't ask for a damn thing. First thing that I started doing was calling folk out, calling heads. I called out Black Enterprise Magazine, called out Ebony Jet, called out Essence. I made it very clear, we're not friends with any of you. You are the ops. How many years have you all heard people nagging and whining to me that we need to have damn me unity? And I said it going on 2 decades ago, but it shook a bunch of y'all when I first said it. Oh, it bristled a few of y'all. It rubbed you the wrong damn way when folks called me up talking about, Jason, we need unity. And to this day, y'all damn well remember what I said. If unity means that I gotta join forces with the coons and bootlicks, then to hell with unity. If that's your definition of unity, to hell with unity. Bring on division. I don't want unity. I want empowerment. If unity means I got to sit up here and sing along with traitors and buck dancers and backstabbers, to hell with unity. And today, we don't have unity. No, we have empowerment. That's what we have today. We have a national conversation that has changed. It is now our conversation. It is now reverberating our agenda. They're now using our vernacular and speaking on our policies. Yeah, we didn't chase, quote, unity. We chased empowerment. I called out the Tom Joyners. I called out the Tavis Smileys. I called out the Roland Martins. I called them out and said, you're the ops. I didn't try to make nice with them. I said, you're the ops. And I was willing to accept that at the end of this, either they were going to be standing or I was going to be standing, but one of us is going to get knocked off. Jason, are you willing to accept that that could be you? I'm willing to accept it could be, but I know it ain't going to be. And here we are. That's what you do if you're serious about taking power. Who was it who popularized the phrase, you got to watch out for these old niggas? And every pastor and reverend around the country was shaking his boots when he heard me say that. How dare you come out and say that openly? How dare you come out and say that blatantly and openly? Yes, we got to clear the damn deck. These old niggas are set in their ways, and they don't give a damn what happens to the rest of us and what we don't get, so long as they get the damn prescription pills. Our problems are bigger than your prescription pills. We got bigger issues. And anybody who don't get that and don't want to get that, you got to go. Yeah, go. Are you willing to call it out? Just like that? Jasmine and AOC won't. Jasmine and AOC won't. And that's why your little damn temper tantrum ain't gonna go any further. And anybody who gets behind you is gonna fail. Because you are not committed to change. Your job is to call these folk out and see how many of the public get behind you. You won't call them out, nobody's gonna get behind you. Because you haven't given them anything to get behind. You haven't given them anything to get behind. Sitting up here being sassy with Jake Tapper isn't a game changer. having the guts to say that we need new leadership across the board that accepts the real agenda of the American people, that's the game changer. But then again, that's not why they chose you. They didn't choose you because you're a game changer. They chose you because you are owned by them.
Your boss, you're not, dude.
And you're not going to change anything because you're powerless. You're gutless and you're powerless. So no, don't deceive yourself into thinking that the young Democrats are going to overthrow anything. They're not even calling anything out. They ain't even calling nothing out. In any case, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank Keenan, my man, Mr. Richburg, Mr. Baker, Willis, everybody else who's contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight's program live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. This concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your
I want to see if I can get Tariq Nasheed. Let's see if I can. What's this nigga doing? Al Smith, what you doing? Let me pull you up. Bishop Al Smith. What happened? Probably got in some situation. Got in some situation. Too old to be getting in problems, man. People think this world is playing games with them. They gonna get shown. Keep on playing around. People keep playing around, and they gonna what? Oh, the targeted hit, huh? Yeah, but I wasn't impressed by you, Camboza. You ain't really do shit. You was alright. You were just fighting, but you didn't make no new friends in boxing. Toxic Umar. Yeah. Sounds like most of them. You're married and you're hooking up with YouTubers for a date. Just like all the rest of the pastors, preachers, doctors, leaders. Scandal. Caught cheating. So you can go to any page you want and keep up with drama. You want to get locked in on drama. I did this shit. I definitely want to watch this later.
Really?
They ain't gonna let me.
Before I turn myself in. So this is Eugene Henley Jr. He's known for previously managing music artists like the late Nipsey Hussle. He's an entrepreneur, community activist. Pretty much he wears a lot of different hats. That's why it might come as a huge shocker when the feds named him in a sweeping RICO indictment called Operation Drawdown. I'm Elizabeth Milner with Law and Crime. Now, before we get into this case, I want to tell you about something really exciting at Law and Crime. We're launching a new channel called Scandal that's dedicated to exposing the dark side of fame, covering all the wild crimes in Hollywood, and diving into the disturbing...
I don't even know what to say.
Big U seemed to be on the right track after an earlier stint in prison. He turned himself into a community activist, specifically an anti-gang activist. He reportedly helped launch Nipsey Hussle's career. He was a music exec, so it seemed like he was doing a lot of good. But according to the feds, while he was playing the role of community peacemaker, really, he was an active gang member for the 60s Crips. And not just an active gang member, he ran it. So the investigation was years in the making. According to his complaint, back in 2021, an FBI task force launched their investigation into his alleged criminal enterprise and its association with the Rollin' 60s Crips. The feds claim Big U's association with the gang has been ongoing since the 80s, where he earned the reputation of being an enforcer. But here's the thing, they claim Big U ran his enterprise separately from the Rolling 60s. For example, the indictment says Big U's enterprise purported control of Los Angeles. Individuals including professional athletes, musicians, and others who came there for business were required to check in. So what does that mean? Well, according to the feds, the check-in included payment to the Big U enterprise, as well as requesting permission from Big U himself to conduct certain activities, including acts of violence that were sanctioned by the Big U enterprise. The indictment even points to an appearance Big U made on the Nothing is Something podcast, where he stated, if you choose not to check in, you suffer the consequences. Another example the indictment points to is the attempted murder.
Keep watching if your recent car accident was not your fault, because I've got a way that you could get.
The indictment points to is the attempted murder of rapper Quando Rondo. You know, the alleged murder for hire plot that has rapper Lil Durk locked up now. According to Big U's indictment, Quando Rondo didn't check in, and as a result, his cousin was killed. Federal agents allege while Big U's enterprise has a history and reputation to control LA through violence, fear, and intimidation, Big U simultaneously attempted to create an air of legitimacy. How? By promoting himself as a reformed gang member who focused on bettering his community through his nonprofit like Developing Options. And it appears Big U was doing good for his community. It began in 2004, and essentially the organization had a mission to decrease gang activity and empower the kids that lived in LA. But here's a big problem. Federal agents allege he embezzled money meant as a charitable donation and used the nonprofit entities to fraudulently apply for government assistance and loans. So I gotta mention here, obviously, when you're accused of running an enterprise, you probably can't do it alone. Big U isn't the only defendant in this indictment. The feds named Sylvester Robinson, aka Vay, Mark Martin, aka Bearclaw, who according to the Developing Options website is the vice president of the organization. The indictment also names Tremaine Williams, aka Loose Cannon, Armani Affalege, aka Monty, Frederick Blatton Jr., and Tiffany Hines. So Big U, Vay, and Bearclaw are accused of RICO conspiracy. Loose Cannon is accused of interference with commerce by robbery. Armani Affalege is accused of transportation of an individual in interstate commerce with intent that that individual engage in prostitution. Meanwhile, Frederick Blatton Jr. and Tiffany Hines are accused of bank fraud. The indictment alleges Big U, Vay, Loose Cannon, and Bear Claw committed and arranged robberies to enrich the Big U enterprise. It alleges Big U, Vay, and Bear Claw extorted individuals in LA for purported protection. It also alleges Big U defrauded various companies, donors, athletes, and celebrities. So another example is Big U is accused of pocketing more than $100,000 in donations to developing options. According to the LA Times, in August of 2019, NBA star Draymond Green donated $20,000 to the nonprofit, but Big U allegedly embezzled that donation by putting it into his personal checking account. Shaq also donated $20,000 to the organization and the Crenshaw Rams youth sports team, but most of that money also went into Big U's personal account. According to FBI Special Agent Andrew Rusa, the LA Mayor's office is supposed to oversee the program, and they should have rejected developing options. Now, why would they reject an organization intended to do good? Well, because each contractor needs to pass a lot of requirements, like background checks, training, approval of employees, stuff like that. But according to Agent Rusa, developing options failed to do that. He wrote, quote, "Based on my review of documents in the course of this investigation, developing options appears to have failed to comply with some or potentially all of those requirements." So that's a lot, right? But Big U is accused of more than just that, like murder and dumping a body in the desert. According to the indictment, on January 20th of 2021, a rapper only known as RW recorded a diss record. And who was he dissing? Big U. Referring to Big U as bro, that makes some money. And that unnamed rapper may get shot in the face for thinking that his use of the studio and representation by unique music is funny. But the track was eerie given what happened next. Just days later, the rapper was shot in the face. But it's unclear if Big U heard the lyrics before the murder. Federal agents allege Big U was the only one with the motive to murder RW. So what exactly happened? Well, according to witnesses, RW was in Vegas, and who else was there? Big U and Vay. Investigators noted Big U's phone location data and witnesses showed he arrived to Vegas at an Airbnb. On January 24th of 2021, Big U arrived to a studio and RW was there, recording until around midnight. A little after 12:30 a.m., Big U left the studio and his phone stopped reporting his location. About 45 minutes later, surveillance video at the Airbnb showed RW exiting the passenger side of the car and entering the Airbnb. A few minutes later, he left the Airbnb with a suitcase, got back into the car, and left. All of this time, Big U's phone wasn't reporting his data. Likely it was turned off, but then it started again at 2:15 a.m. And here's the thing, RW wasn't seen again. He wasn't even supposed to leave Vegas until the next day, but he never returned to the Airbnb. Instead, his body was found on the side of the road near Interstate 15. Investigators say he died from multiple gunshot wounds. They also noted he wasn't dressed for the weather. Remember, it's late January around this time. DNA collected from around his ankles pointed to RW being dragged into the desert off the highway. Witnesses told detectives an associate of Big U removed the video recording equipment from the studio a few days after the homicide, including video that would have shown RW and Big U at the studio before he was murdered. And there was probable cause to conclude that the footage from the DVR system would have shown an altercation between Big U and RW on the night of January 24th. And it seems Big U switched up on the rapper's extended family too. The victim's aunt told investigators she confronted Big U about arranging her nephew's trip out to Vegas, which Big U admitted to, according to the indictment. And Big U even called her on a weekly basis prior to the murder.
Really consider Indeed like a partner. It's just been so critical to the success of Ship Sunshine.
Prior to the murder, then stopped after the murder. And after she confronted him, she never heard from him again. Again, this was back in 2021. But remember how I mentioned this was a years-long investigation? By 2023, the feds were conducting a wiretap on Big U. He allegedly ordered witnesses not to speak with police about the murder. Like I mentioned, it's a lot. And when the indictment came down, federal agents claimed Big U went on the run. Then he published a series of videos to Instagram swearing by his innocence.
This is my last video before I turn myself in. I'm with my family. Talk to my sons, I talk to everybody, man. I'm just saying, gonna deal with this fight, see what it is. I just want y'all to know, all this stuff is quagmire. This shit is all bullcrap. I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all. I don't even know what to say. 21 years, I've elevated my family, come back, sit in here and write. do what I need to do until I can come back home. And people are supposed to help me. I hope you help me. Hank, you don't worry about it. A lot of stuff y'all hearing is straight trash. And I appreciate the love. And I appreciate the people who've been helping me. I don't know. It's hard helping black people and not being hunted for doing it.
Square Street, it might be to, I don't know if it's to the right or the left.
Reach out to anybody who can help me, y'all.
You hear me?
Help my own family. Appreciate y'all. Go. I'm looking at this video as I come in to turn myself in, and I'm disheartened by the fact that they trying to say that I stole something from Developing Option, or I used Developing Option for some front. Developing Option paid my bills. They paid my house note. They paid the bills for my family, the money I made from as an employee for Developing Option. I never mixed that with nothing. I didn't manipulate nobody. I didn't steal nothing. We did PPP loans. We did 2 loans. And that's it, just like everybody else did. I didn't use no fraud. I didn't give none of fake names. And one of them we was paying back and one they forgave. You know what I mean? And the other one we attempted for and they didn't give us nothing for it. I filed my taxes and them coming around telling me I was using Developing Option as a cover. Cover for what? None of that's going to be true. None of that's going to be true. The government putting this big picture, they going to arrest 21 dudes. Some dudes I don't even talk to. I don't even know nothing about. So how the hell you going to lump me in with all them? But it's all the big picture though. It's all the big picture. Now I'm going to be sitting in here. It's going to be years out of my life. Then you going to get dudes who I don't even talk to. What they going to say? You ruining people's lives. I heard it's over 21 people that's been arrested. It's wrong. It is what it is. Church, just pray for me. Pray for me, pray for my family. You look at what we did. You look at what I did. I've been home 21 years. It ain't over though. That's what it's not. Blessings.
And he had more to say, comparing his case to Young Thug's, but alleged music manager Whack 100 is working with the feds.
I'm looking at all these charges on the news. I'm headed back to LA. And then I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you gonna go arrest people that I don't even talk to? That's a built-in liar right there. You know what I mean? So, is that how they gonna work the case? Everybody know I don't work with Candy. Everybody know I work with Brick Baby. So if you went to arrest certain dudes, and put them next to me, them was the dudes you gonna have that call themselves turning against me. Well, ain't no turn against me. I ain't going for that. You might as well go get 600 and whack. These dudes been saying I did all year. So what they doing is they go on the internet and these dudes say that I did shit on the internet. Then when you say I did on the internet, they go investigate it. Now you raiding my houses, raiding my shops, raiding all this stuff. And talking about I'm committing crimes and covering up with Developing Option. What crimes am I committing to cover up with Developing Option? You know what I'm saying? I ain't committed no crimes. They cover nothing up with Developing Option. Crazy. But this how they get you. They get 1 or 2 people to say something. Ain't gonna be no real evidence. Ain't gonna be no real nothing. It's gonna be a repeated thug. It's gonna be a bunch of people in jail for a bunch of different crimes that don't have nothing to do with me. They finna lump all of us up and say it's all around the 60s. Watch and see. We just seen it with Thug. I'm finna experience the same thing out here. I knew it was coming. Now they on there saying all this stuff to assassinate my character. All right, man, just pray for me. And again, They can do any one of us. It ain't nobody safe with these dudes. If these dudes feel they want you, how they going around talking about somebody's gonna raid my house before my house get raided? How they there with the police? And y'all sitting there following them. Everybody that's a part of them shows, and 100 shows, and all them shows, and y'all need to, everybody who following them, promoting them, anything. Y'all wrong. Y'all ain't black. And y'all show ain't for our people. They can put charges against anybody. So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talking about I'm a fugitive. So they just raided all my houses. 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house. And he's actually got video and footage of it. So y'all know what y'all dealing with. And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about whack. Whack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all filed. All y'all who be sending shit around the internet. All y'all who be promoting and listening to what these niggas saying. All y'all giving these likes and hidden likes. All y'all supporting this. All y'all guilty of this. If you had something against a black man, you should handle it with a black man in the streets. Wack said 100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scaring and intimidating everybody. But y'all sitting it around getting people in trouble. Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You're just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they go on the internet and do what the they want to and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy. But I'm going to go turn myself in though. Because I ain't did nothing. The fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my window. They calling my son at his football practice, threatening him. You know what I mean? These dudes tagging him. What kind of is this? But y'all gonna be rolling with these dudes. And I got the last thing to say. Wack said he was gonna destroy developing option, right? So who gonna replace developing option? Which one of you in the 60s gonna call yourself coming in? Because whoever try to come in, y'all the ones that's working with Wack. Believe that. So remove me to get me out the way for somebody else to come in who gonna cooperate. That's what the play is. That's what the whole play is. I'm out. I'm gonna send y'all videos to put up all of them until they lock me up.
Now, WAC 100 denied that he was working with the feds. As for Big U, federal agents say he did eventually turn himself in. But by that time, they and Bear Claw were already arrested, and 18 other Rolling 60 Crips and associates were federally charged. Big U was ordered to remain behind bars pending a detention hearing in federal court at the end of the month, and no plea has been entered yet. He's expected to be arraigned on April 8th. There's so many allegations laid out in this indictment. Let's bring on Detective Eric Barnes. Eric, it's always great to see you. Now, I do want to mention to our viewers, you don't have involvement in the case, but I got to know, what's your reaction to the indictment against Big U? He's accused of murder, running a mafia-like enterprise, and that's just kind of scratching the surface.
There are so many details to unpack in this indictment. Very well written, very well laid out, and definitely when you read the indictment, it definitely gives you a different picture than what Big U has displayed over social media and across the media networks.
Yeah, and it feels that way too, especially because it seemed like he was doing so much good. Like, he had the youth programs, the food drives, the mentorship, but according to the feds, on the flip side, he was still involved in, the life. What do you make of just kind of this double life that the feds allege that Big U was doing?
Well, it's been seen sometimes that people have a hard time cutting ties with some old friends and maybe even old habits that may drag them back into that lifestyle. Now, what remains to be seen is, how these alleged crimes connect back to other individuals from his community. But I think that there is so many details that you have to. It's definitely worth the look, and just to say that maybe there's more going on than what he wanted to admit.
Yeah, and one of the things that kind of stands out in the indictment, amongst like other things, is just kind of this fear that he allegedly invoked on people in Los Angeles, like requiring people to check in with him for protection, or even these relationships that he had with like celebrities, athletes, and rappers. But then at the same time is accused of embezzling their money, including from big names like Draymond Green and Shaq. But what do you make of just him using these relationships to kind of prop himself up, but at the same time kind of pull a double side and just kind of allegedly embezzle from them too?
I think everything is so close knit in the world of entertainment between rap icons and music legends and also sports icons. You hear often that rappers all want to play sports and professional athletes all want to be rappers. So I think it's all one and the same when you look in the entertainment world, because the money that you make gives you access to different types of people, and some of those individuals, they still have ties to the criminal world. It's going to eventually show itself.
And do you think that he may have pulled the wool over their heads by kind of acting like their friend, but at the same time allegedly pocketing their money?
The first thing that I thought about when I read the indictment was, they mentioned all these other gang members that he was associated with. And, the entertainment check is not going to be enough to support all of those people. So, if they're going to be part of the entourage, he has to find a way for them to eat. And for what it sounds like, it was criminal activity.
Yeah, and to, run an alleged RICO enterprise, or what the indictment says, the Big U enterprise, obviously you're going to need a lot of people, and a lot of people that you may have known from the old life, a lot of people that you just feel more comfortable kind of, sharing more details of your life to them. But what do you make of just kind of what the feds are alleging as far as just the organization of this alleged enterprise, and just the fact that, a lot of people are also swept up in this indictment too, not just Big U?
In terms of just sheer power, they always say there's strength in numbers. But I think in terms of committing crimes, that also plays against you. There's more eyes, more ears, and more mouths that are involved in the business of whatever Big U enterprise may be. And now when you talk about RICO indictments, that means everybody that's part of the indictment is liable for every single charge that is in that indictment. So if the lower hanging fruit, or the guys that had maybe the least amount of criminal culpability, now those guys are in a position where
I think this shit is
they have to do what's best for themselves.
Yeah, and speaking of that, when you're having an indictment of this sort, it seems like, the feds are going to need witnesses, or cooperating witnesses, What are your thoughts on potential informants that may have been, in that organization potentially?
Anytime that a RICO indictment comes up, you have to have information from the inside at some point, and it could come from different sources. It doesn't necessarily have to be an informant that's mentioned in the indictment. It could be someone that they've dealt with in the past that's renounced the gang lifestyle, but they definitely have to have someone from the inside, or someone that was in the inside at one point, to kind of give insight into what was really going on.
Yeah, and I'm sure, when the feds come knocking.
Square feature I love the most is the kitchen display system. It's allowed us to track orders.
So the first question I want to know is, because I saw a clip surfing with you when you were talking about Brick Baby. So did you really put the people on Brick Baby?
Yeah, back then I really did. Yeah. See, they were playing, and I was playing. But yeah, I be playing in a different kind of way.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was in Houston at the time when he did that. And this was kind of like around the time I think Takeoff had got killed. So yeah, I contacted Houston Police Department. Then I contacted LA County Police Department, as well as the FBI, because I wanted to be documented. Just in case I run across Brick Baby and I got to shoot him. I heard it.
Okay,
Yeah, I was setting the stage for a self-defense case.
Okay. So Big U said...
And I was scared of them.
Oh, okay.
They rolling 60 Crip, and they notorious in the country.
Oh, got you. Wow. So Big U said WAC 100 the police. What is your thoughts on that?
WAC 100 is the police. One thing about the police know everything. Police know everything. Especially they know everything about wrongdoing. So the police is an institution of information. That's how they solve crimes. They go out from the beginning of the crime and they collect information. That's how they put the pieces of the puzzle together. So when you look at WAC 100, WAC 100 is an institution of information. He got information on everybody and everything. It's only 2 institutes in the country like that. That's the FBI and the police. So he got to be the police. He got too much information and too much knowledge of wrongdoing.
So out of the case with Brick Baby, Loose Cat, and all them, who you think will be the first to tell?
All of them. Big U gonna be the first to tell. Nigga, that gray bird Big U had in that picture going, nigga, man, that's Paw. That nigga ain't that when he with his family and the news hit that he wanted. Nigga, he with his woman, he with his children, he with them grandkids. And them grandkids saying, Paw, where you going? And Paw got to go turn himself in. Man, crying on the inside. Just as soon as he can get by himself, man, Paw don't want to leave them grandbabies. Talk that tough guy shit, but nigga got all that gray hair on that bird. And that nigga said, man, that already pleading.
Facts.
So now he gonna be the first to tell. Let me tell it. But this is what I'm saying. Everybody tell it. This is no time to be lawyer and standing on no motherfucking code. They done got 40, 50. This is not the time to play fool. Be a wise man and give up some information to save yourself. There's no honor amongst thieves. That's where I come in at. I come to remind everybody, hey, there's no loyalty in this group of criminals. Nobody have ever been able to uphold these codes. The mafia ain't, the Chinese mafia, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, everybody, when they get caught by the oppressor, breaking fold, they got techniques that they put on you. They might waterboard you. They might isolate you. Won't let you see nobody. Man, all kind of, and you stand on these, and you broke while you doing this. You broke while you standing on these motherfucking code with a court-appointed lawyer. You tell to get out of jail, fellas. The best thing you can do. You still get, you might quit talking to you, but you still get, they don't stop getting you know, because you a tattletale.
So did you see that Yellow Beast was charged with the Mo 3 murder? What are your thoughts on that?
Po Yellow. Yeah, Po Yellow. Yeah, Po Yellow. Me and Mo was hell on them boys. Mo was on them boys' ass, my nigga. He was kicking up dust. Yellow was in a lose-lose situation, but Yellow would have been better off killing him himself. That way he can at least plead a self-defense case. And shot up on your sprinter, steady everywhere I go, this nigga shooting it. He should at least killed him himself. He would have been better off, a better chance getting off with a self-defense case. But that murder for hire, capital murder go, man. Nigga might can't for 2 weeks. Isn't that motherfucker trying to, nigga might can't swallow and might can't for at least half a month. Trying to process it through his brain. All your organs shut down. Man, God. Boy, I bet he up right now. But yeah, now, man, that Mo 3, Mo 3 works hard to get killed. And he was getting him hell, homie, so yeah, shit, man, Po Yellow. He said, yeah, shit. Yeah, man, fuck this shit. And he ain't got nobody he can tell on.
Wow.
If I was him, I'd give up Trap Boy Freddy. I tell on Trap Boy Freddy. Nah, I'm just playing Trap.
Shout out to Trap.
think the world done seen it all in these trap streets. I think the world done heard about me. To get what gotta be getting, gotta be done in this trap game. It had real beef. The murder of it's all so easy. You don't even have to do nothing. And loose connection.
What's the deal? This S-Mac and Terrell back on Fig.
Don't say my name, ho.
This S-Mac and Terrell back on Fig. What's the deal, bro? Hey, what's your opinion on all this shit that's going on, big huh? Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. I just told Terrell, I said, I ain't gonna lie to you. Everything Wack been saying been true, bro. When niggas handicapped Big U, and them niggas got away from him, and he started using regular civilian dudes to do street shit, that's where he went wrong. Right. You got the paperwork, right? Right. Okay, if you read the paperwork, Sylvester, is T-Rail there? See, that's Scrooge. You know Scrooge, right? Yeah, I know you talking about. Okay, that's Scrooge uncle. Wow. Red Mike brother. Only he's not a gang member. Right. He's like to coach football. I know the nigga. Nah, facts. That's all he do. I've been knowing Big U. Right. But guess what Big U did? What'd he do, huh? Put this nigga in the middle of all the fire. He's sending him to pick up the extortion money. He got this nigga driving him to do bodies. So when they pick messed up, right? Tell this nigga, we got you on over 200 extortions. Whoa. We got the nigga, the money you picking up is bad money. We giving it to the nigga. You hear this shit, Terrell? Look, it's in the paperwork. We finna give you 30 or else. So you know what best do? What? They put a picture in front of me. It's the key. Wow. What you know about this? You know what best know? What best know? He was there. Oh. Now that's accessory. So guess what best does? What'd he do, Wack? Okay, I'm gonna tell you how it happened. It's in the paperwork. Shit. We gotta read the paperwork, Terrell. It's 107 pages, right? Nigga, that's rude. You turning your back on the hey, look. They got me feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride away. Rolling 60s indictment. DA. It's not DA, it's an AUSA. AUS.
Hey, what up, Hunter?
The AUSA report, I think this is it.
Good morning. I'm Joe McNally, the acting United States Attorney here on.
So if you guys don't know, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon.
What up, Hunter?
Yo, I had a really good conversation. Y'all gonna see it tomorrow, chat. I had a really interesting conversation on
I'm gonna rinse you up.
I showed up to No Jumper. I did the Adam and Wack show. I was there. Wack was there, obviously. Adam was there. Shouts to Trap4LIFE2 Ross was in the building. But also we had Remo and we also had DJ Vlad in the building. Let me tell you this. I had some
some ethical and dilemma questions that I had to ask to Adam, but also ask to other people, including Wack, who were there as well. Here's the question I had to Adam. By the way, do I in any shape or form blame the arrest of Big U and Loose Cannon, Brick Baby, and among others on any of these guys? No. But I do believe that that platform, as could be seen in the indictment, is the place where corroborations are being had. Except, here's the problem. No Jumper is building, it's built his entire backbone these days around gang stories. So I asked Adam, because I knew for me,
what's up?
if it said someone got indicted based on shit we do all the time, we'd probably stop doing it, especially if it's our mans. Brick Baby was Adam's mans. I've heard many stories of Adam going out into town and Brick Baby holding him down.
Okay.
Brick Baby was a guy who was really respected by Adam. Essentially, not all, but some of the stuff that Brick Baby went down by was by content on No Jumper. He wasn't charged with content, but it was definitely looked at as corroboration. We'll get to the whole Big U thing, but let me play a little bit of what the attorney, the assistant attorney, the assistant U.S. attorney said about this case, and then we'll get into it because we got the whole documents.
Los Angeles to further his own criminal enterprise. Henley Jr.
Now, Henley, I'll just let him play it.
Announced federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise. An enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human trafficking, COVID fraud, and other felonies. Mr. Henley and several other individuals linked to him and his criminal enterprise were charged in a criminal complaint with federal racketeering conspiracy. Mr. Henley is a fugitive, and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement. Other individuals linked to his criminal enterprise were arrested today, approximately 10 defendants who are charged in various indictments. Again, Mr. Henley is a fugitive. 4 defendants are in state custody and will be transferred into federal custody, and we are still seeking Mr. Henley and another fugitive. The Department of Justice's top priority is eliminating violent crime caused by criminal street gangs and organized crime. These organizations cause a tremendous amount of harm in our communities, and today's arrests are part.
Okay, he's yapping. Let's get to some details.
Defendants are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Let me talk a little bit about Mr. Henley and the street gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the early 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation. He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label, and of somebody.
Okay, let's just run that part back again.
Closely as part of this investigation.
Hold on.
He is in the early 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation. He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label, and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at-youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high-crime areas. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement. Henley's criminal enterprise also engaged in other crimes, including transporting prostitutes across state lines extorting strip clubs, marijuana dispensaries, and other businesses, and fraudulently applying for COVID loans in the form of a business relief loan. On that application, Mr. Henley falsely stated that his music label, Unique Music, operated at a $200,000 profit in 2019 and was entitled to government assistance, despite the reality that the company had operated at a loss and was ineligible for such relief. Finally, Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity, Developing Options.
Okay. All right. Now this is the meat and potatoes. Y'all come here for this. Okay. Let me break it all down. So let me explain what's been going on in LA. Number one, all the LA gangsters, I don't know what's going on in LA. Maybe they don't sell enough drugs being in these gangs. They don't get money. They're broke. Okay? I'm sorry to say, LA gang members are fucking broke. The only way they know how to get money is podcasting. And again, there's nothing wrong with it because I get money via podcasting. But here's the problem. Most of them are unintelligible, illiterate, don't know how to have coherent ideas, points, or even make sentences. And what they oftentimes realize the intrigue about them is that they could say some shit that people would be like, well, I wouldn't know about that. What usually is that? Is talk about crimes they've committed. So the whole LA podcast scene, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I think LA is a weird scene in general. Let me just be very clear. And this is no indictment against LA, but let me speak very clearly. All you niggas that's on LA podcasting, y'all have definitely, y'all have celebrated and enjoyed this luxury of the feds and other authorities and policing bodies not giving a fuck about y'all for whatever reason. Here's the reality of it. Y'all throw up everything on y'all fingers, this and third, wear colors. If 3 niggas get shot in New York City and a nigga screaming out some subsection gang, that's a RICO. New York don't play that. That's why K-Flock locked up, Casanova 6ix9ine, they don't play that. There is no nigga that gets to say he's in a gang and that gang kills or does anything and that entire gang don't go down. Only in LA. So I've always thought because of LA, how vast gang culture is, they're impervious to what happens in other parts of the country. Okay? I'm telling you, every single gang in New York City, from GS9, the Woos, the Chews, everybody went down. They're not playing it. It's New York City. As soon as you think you popping, one of your ops get dropped, it's over. In LA, well, with all due respect, I gotta keep it 100. I don't know if the LA niggas get cracking like that, but they got to. I guess so, because I see a couple of people died. Slim 400 died. Draco the Ruler got stabbed up. So I guess they do. But for the most part, LA's been a really interesting place. Y'all are the home of gangs. Y'all talk crazy about whatever. But we don't see RICO indictments. Now, you know RICO indictments are meant for the mafia, but really now it's been translated to black gangs. When you start linking yourself up with another nigga throwing up the same symbols, calling out the same type of words and, colloquials that kind of identify y'all, this is how you get yourself jammed up, because the crime of your comrade becomes your crime. It's guilty by association. We see it in many other places. Young Thug just went through it. You tell me niggas in LA ain't claiming whatever gang they in more than Young Thug? Exactly. But from time to time, the feds do pop in and, I guess, they'll do it at times, but not often in LA. There's not a RICO complaint announced. Now, I need to explain everything to y'all, and I'm going to try to do it in layman's terms. So fuck what he was talking about. We're not going to get to the paperwork yet. Listen to my voice. I personally believe, and I'm going to tell you what I believe versus what I know as a fact, that you could know what to... If I say I believe, you could say, oh, you disagree. If I say I know as a fact, you can't disagree with actual paperwork and the facts. What I believe is that the feds fast-tracked an ongoing indictment for multiple reasons. Let me give you some details. This entire situation got started, and the feds got involved after there was a kid that got killed who they claim was by Big U. The kid made this song to Big U. He was signed to Big U. Big U supposedly reportedly had an altercation with a person at the studio, brought that kid to somewhere else, and then they believe at that spot, Big U shot the kid in the head. Then brought the kid's body to the side of a highway and dumped it. Okay? Now, the reason why all this is happening, and because I keep telling you, the feds don't really come in and fuck with LA that much, is that it looks like Big U has been in a very interesting place. He's been a target of many things. Not only has he been going around bragging that he's like, you know, like the Crip version of what Suge Knight is, people are looking at him to be like, yo, okay, if this is, you know, he's been a community leader as well. So when you get to be extra OG, you get to be a community leader. So Big U was running this organization called Development Options, but was also working through what they call a grid program, where it was getting paid over like $540,000 a year. So in about a few years, he got paid almost damn near $3 million, because the program they have in LA is that the cops, like, you know, it's not like these other places, like say New York. The cops are scared of the gangs. You know why? Because the gangs almost outnumber the cops. Okay? So they try to work with them to some extent. So, you know, in some cities, they do what's called a grid program. What a grid program is that, you know, they're going to rely on older and senior members of maybe a gang to try to restore some peace and squash the violence. And also, if there was a situation that happened, that person's going to work with law enforcement to make sure it doesn't go further. Okay? You guys can Google this. It is widely available. It's called the Grid Program Los Angeles. Okay? If you read about it, it will tell you it's a gang prevention program that hires actual older gang members, because at least in LA, there's a hierarchy. They do care about what the older heads say, as opposed to other places. And they give those people funds and resources to try to, you know, squash violence or retaliatory shit, okay? All right. So the murder happens, allegedly. They think it's Big U, but they can't figure it out as Big U. Why can't they figure it out? So at the point, the altercation happened. The first altercation happened with the guy who died in a studio. It was Big U's studio. So apparently Big U orders for all the what do you call it again? I can't speak right now. He orders for all the security cameras to be discarded. So no one could ever find out what happened and how bad the scuffle was before the night the dude disappeared.
That's a snitch. He's snitching now. That right there is the beginning of snitching.
Grab some Planner's nuts and watch Mr. Peanut in The Electric State.
Shall we begin? Shall we begin? You already know the rules. When you come in my house, take off your shoes and super violate that like button. As a child, I thought like a child. As a young adult, the streets, I thought like a criminal. I used to say things like, I wouldn't wish jail on nobody. I wouldn't wish jail on nobody. Then I became a man who became a civilian with a family and got a chance to watch over the community and sit back and see mothers crying, standing over caskets, trying to figure out why. The pastor's preaching. The grave digger is digging dirt to put their son in the earth. And I started to realize that we are our own worst enemy. So now, that brings us here, right here to this conversation. Big U, the community activist. Big U.
Music executive and a community activist wanted by the feds, accused of running a notorious South LA street gang, is now in custody. And KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers with the guest. Mike, some pretty serious allegations here.
But very serious allegations. And Pat, moments ago, we want you to know that he was taken into custody. That's according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. We're talking here about Eugene Henley Jr., a 58-year-old man who is a music executive and a self-proclaimed community leader here in Los Angeles. The feds say he is actually the leader of a notorious South LA street gang accused in a series of very violent crimes, including murder. Earlier today, the United States Attorney's Office held a press conference announcing he was one of the few that they were still looking for connected to this large operation. They say moments ago he is now in custody, being held by federal officials. He is accused of a murder back in 2021. He runs a music label, and according to the feds, he signed on a young, aspiring rapper to record a song for them in a Las Vegas music studio. When that rapper then turned around and made a song, essentially a diss track against the duo, that, according to the feds, is when they traveled to Las Vegas, took him into the Nevada desert, and shot and killed him. There's a number of other crimes they are accusing him of, including RICO operations throughout the Southern California region. Tonight, the federal government says the fact that he claims he is a community leader is all wrong.
The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him.
In addition to this, the federal government says he fraudulently obtained and used COVID-19 money as part of this whole operation as well. We will wait to see. He should have his initial appearance in court in the coming days. But again, he is in custody tonight after the feds putting out his photo earlier today.
All right, thank you so much for that, Mike. That story is really just going to grow.
Absolutely.
As we find out more information.
The news just called him the activist. That's a murderer, a thief, a liar, a cheat. But before Big U turned himself in, he had some last words for us.
So this is gonna probably be my last video before I'm gonna turn myself in to see what's going on. They talk about the fugitive. So they just raided all my houses.
He's telling you to check in, so he don't feel like the only one getting extorted. But shout out to Schoolboy Q. The Schoolboy Q, he went on an interview and he said,
rumors that LA is probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah. Because, I mean, everybody be checking in. That's your favorite thing to do. Check in with somebody that's gonna rob you, stupid. Wow. Yo, you think that guy, the guy that you don't in California got your back? The guy that got beef with other hoods and all this, you checking in to that dude? Bro, just go to the hotel, get you something to eat, go back to the hotel,
Do your business.
go have some fun.
Right.
Where shit is fun. Why do you want to go over there?
Right.
For what? Don't call me.
Right.
Oh, it's a to call me sometime. Like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm playing video games. My daughter got a soccer game tomorrow, bro. I'm not about to drive over here to Beverly Hills and drop you off.
What, you gonna check in with the same people that extorting you? Well, let's get back to this community activist. And it brings me back to what I said. You got niggas on the internet talking about, I don't wish jail on nobody. Free all them niggas. Nah. Not on my watch. You gonna scream free? Big U? This man had a young child. This kid, Rayshawn Williams. He was a child to Big U. He was a child to Big U. Big U was the big homie that didn't look at him as a child, as a football player. Nope. He looked at him like he was the big homie. And this is gang, right? Not a college fraternity, but gang. Sent it to the studio. The same way he used to do Nipsey. Paid for him to go to the studio. Shorty wasn't going to the studio like that. He didn't have the money to get back and forth. So they say. In between, there must have been something that Shorty didn't like about Big U. Big U goes to the studio. He listens to some of the music that he's paying for. And he finds a diss track where Rayshawn Williams made a song and Big U felt like he was dissing him. So instead of him being the mentor, the activist, he decided I'm going to be the big homie. And you got to get G-checked. So along the lines of scuffling, allegedly, with this young brother, after he finished with him, turning his TV off, rocking his snot box, he hit him in the head with the headshot. He left residue of that young man's skin up under his nails. It's called DNA. But before he dumped his body in the desert. So because this young man wasn't producing hits for Big U, the same way Nipsey Hussle wasn't producing hits for Big U and decided, I think I gotta let him go. They wanted to get away from the monster. His reward was the cemetery. But at least Big U had a little bit of integrity. After he turned that young man TV off, he didn't answer the family's calls, or he didn't show up to the funeral because he wanted them to indirectly know he did that. Allegedly.
That's a snitch. But where's Eric Garner come in at, if that's the case? You know?
Darling, I could take your skin from this to this with my award-winning
Willie D. Live.
What's up, family? On yesterday, Big U turned himself in on RICO charges. The feds alleged murder, human trafficking, and extortion. The question is, do they have a case? According to Big U, they don't. Big U believes that he has been set up by internet rumors, gossip. He says that all of these things that they're claiming that he did not happen. and he is prepared to prove himself innocent in a court of law. Big U says that they was trying to get him for the PPP loans. He said, man, we had a couple of loans for our organization. One we're paying back, one was forgiven, and another one we applied for, but we did not get. He also said that the feds were coming for him because he was helping his community. He's a black man helping black people primarily, and feds don't like that. Several weeks ago, I sat down with Big U and we spoke about a myriad of things, including his time in the streets of LA, his time in prison, and his time dealing with young people in his community. Big U talked about the over 100 guys who he's helped to move on into professional sports. He also talked about his foundation and, the work that he does in the community. He talked about redemption. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. If I had thought for 1 second that Big U had something to do with Nipsey Hussle's death, first and foremost, I would not have sat down with him to do the interview because I would not have been able to keep my composure. Nipsey was a good dude. Nipsey was the homie. He was a good dude. He was everything that we say we want our kings to be. Everything that we say we want our black men to be. Builders, not destroyers. He was a good family man. He was a good brother. He was a good friend. He was a good son. By all accounts, I don't know anybody who didn't like Nipsey. That's all you hear. Everybody, all the people that I know say the same thing about Nipsey. Good dude, good dude, good dude, good dude, good dude. I've heard people say Big U is a good dude. That's the Big U I know. I don't know the Big U that they're naming in this indictment. I don't know that dude. I don't know the Big U that other people say is this type of guy. I don't know that guy. All I know is the Big U that has kept it 100 with me, that has been solid with me. And I also talked to him off the record. We had a conversation that y'all did not hear on video. And it just didn't add up to me. Now, if you know different, then you know what you know. Nip was a good dude. And the fact that he and Big U had some problems, if something happened to anybody and they was having problems with somebody else, people gonna point the finger at them, especially if they think that person is capable. They're gonna point the finger at them. So I get where that energy is coming from. I just think it's misplaced. I think that the dude who's in prison for killing Nip is the dude
Eric Garner
who killed Nip and acted alone. That's my take. I could be wrong, but that's what I picked up. Big U is from the streets, so ultimately, he's gonna have enemies. Hell, even if you're not from the streets, you're gonna have enemies. But if you're from the streets, you absolutely are going to have enemies. The point is, whether Big U is guilty or not, to me, it's always sad to see a brother with great influence, especially in the community, get caught up in something like this. The system is serious about RICO. I mean, when it's RICO, they pull out all stops. They pull out all the artillery. So this is just another reminder that once they set their sights on you, it's hard to shake them. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.
You know Harbor Freight for
the
affordability,
world that
but
we
durability goes right
live in.
along with it. You see, we test.
I don't know what y'all thinking about in these streets. It can't be no realer than this. This trap life ain't made for everybody. Sometimes it gets dark and hell is hot. In the dark of night, where your mind at? I don't know what y'all thinking about, but it seemed like we all trapped. I ain't trying to get none of these problems. People out here ripping and they robbing and this guy's still alive. They creeping, they crawling, looking for something to do. They grew up in poverty. To this trap rapper, KOD testimonies. They just wanna be free. Climbing up, capitalism, capital. KOD testimony. Free life. That's all we know. You know, it's sad to say, but the people that's closest to you hurt you the most. Look in the eyes and wanna see Jesus and God too. He put his son on this earth. Look what's done. The blacker the battery, the sweeter the juice. What happened to Adam and Eve? Revelation. A resurrection. You can't deny I ain't lying. It's over 500 years of blood, sweat, and tears. We built this shit in America. And they hate on us. Foundation of black men. No matter what we do, we consider to be extremists. But supremacy with the white media. Look at that spook sitting at the front door. The big black, the big back. The ones who are goons, they ain't built like us. It's dark and hell is hot. You're sitting in per control. Worry about where your spirituality's gonna go. You're praising up to some that don't look like you. Who am I? KOD testimony. Where's the stage at? Of life. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's this thing right here called life. You can go out one way or another, I promise you that. I'll try to entertain y'all. We keep getting it from coast to coast, the same information. Year after year, the same situations. You can take it or leave it. You're only here for a period of time, maybe approximately 80, 90 to 100 years, and then you die. Or you can die before that by your brother's keeper. I ain't trying to be the one to tell you that you can't see and hear the pain of the women and the children. Some of them have all been complicit, casualties. What do they call that?
Pop it up, Black. Pop it up, Black.
I done seen it all. Be quiet. In the community. It's starting all this crime with black on black crime. I ain't do that shit, man. I ain't built like that. We two-step drinking till we fucked up. We smoked out, really give a fuck. We all thrown off dysfunctional. While the mothers just getting it building foundation for their legacy, and we sitting back. Get up off your shoulder and go get it, son. You think I'm just talking, I'm spitting these bars, and yeah, there's enough room. Killer bees, Cash Money, No Limit Soldier. Come on, yay. Look at my Rockefeller, fellas. UGK, Underground King. Do you know what I mean? I'm the trap guy. Yo, it's KOD Testimonies. North Texas, best underground trap rapper alive. To the day I put my feet in the grave, y'all realize that we were set up, and we constantly are being set up and manipulated from schools to penitentiaries. Which direction will you go? You want to be scared straight? Look at all of them. All your leaders are dirty as fuck. Pastors, congressmen, deputies, looking for immunity in our community. KOD Testimonies. They just want to hang you, man. And you letting it happen in the trap. Yeah.